Good morning. Today I just wanted to pop in here real quick and talk to you guys about some things that we can do to help with some holiday stress support for ourselves and for our clients. This has been a very interesting year for a lot of families, and so I just wanted to make sure that I put something out there that maybe could help you a little bit and make things a little bit easier for you, especially with your herbal practice and the different products that you bring to the table for clients and family. So, yeah, the holidays can be wonderful. They can also be very overwhelming. Many people experience things like feeling rushed, pressured financially, overcommitted. So you can also make homemade presents. That could be a way. Now, making homemade presents isn't always cheaper though, right? When you got to buy all the supplies. So I think sometimes people will be like, oh, it's a homemade present. It's not as good. And it's like, when you factor in everything, you got the world's most expensive whatever, like I could go and get you a face cream from Chanel, and it would probably be cheaper than my time and the ingredients that I use. But, people are what they are when it comes to that kind of stuff. So a lot of people also experience things like changes in routine. So sleep and eating habits can also be disrupted. And so if you have a client or a family member who is very sensitive when their body is messed with, it could, it can impact everyone's experience, right? So this is also a time when family tensions reappear because people maybe are having a little alcohol or letting old grievances out or addressing new ones. So, and it can also be like, sometimes it's the only time we see other people. So we have to like get everything in at once, let's get it all out there all at the same time. So that can also be something that happens. So look, while herbs can't eliminate the stress, anxiety, or mood issue completely, they can definitely help. And so there's also things that you can do that can make supportive foods. And so if you are going to a Christmas party, you can bring foods that are good for the nervous system and stuff like that. Maybe amp the situation down a little bit. And these are food grade herbs. So they're overall, they should be like, super, super safe and probably safer for most people than, artificial ingredients and instant frostings or corn syrup or things like that. So definitely, it's one of those things that you can bring into the environment. And I'll share a little bit of recipes with that. And then under this, I'm going to post like a PDF that just has like a little chart, and hopefully it'll be helpful if this is something that you're interested in. So if for some reason you're joining us, I know we don't always have a lot of people join us live. If you are joining and you have a question or anything that you want to talk about in reference to like holiday stress and all this kind of stuff, please feel free to chime in. Okay, so if you're working with a client or yourself, simple check-ins are a good thing to start with. So how am I sleeping? How is my digestion? And where do I feel stress in my body? And let those answers guide how you are going to work with someone else or yourself. So some everyday herbal allies for holiday stress. We've got lemon balm, chamomile, linden, oat straw. Those are great. And so what's so great about those herbs is you can put those in food, right? You can incorporate those into things like cookies and butters and, hot drinks. And so you can add these things in your own environment. So like when my kids were little and I knew that we were going to like a holiday event that could be stressful, I'd often like bring the ingredients to make them like a little punch that had like lemon balm and hibiscus and linden, and just help keep them centered and grounded when there's all these crazy things going on. And then we drink it in the car or maybe halfway through the event, because that was like one of the times where even if I was like, nobody's drinking any soda today, they're going to go get sodas from the older cousins or things like that, right? So this was like a way that I could just kind of like support them in this process of doing like a family visit. Some adaptogens and tonic herbs that are great to bring into like this situation are like holy basil, tulsi, ashwagandha, and hawthorn. Those are great too. And they can help the body adapt to stress over time. So this maybe wouldn't be something that you would necessarily have at the table for everyone. But if you know a family member who's been struggling, you can definitely make something and say, hey, try using this a few days before the family event. And maybe it can help them feel a little bit better or more grounded. And then there's like the sleep and switch off herbs, which are great for like people who have a hard time winding down, or maybe teenagers and they really need to get to bed, or even younger kids. But obviously I wouldn't suggest California poppy for really young children, but you could do passion flower, skullcap, and California poppy. And then some aromatic herbs that are great that just kind of bring the whole situation down, or things like lavender and rose. And so you could even have those. So I would put like a lavender spray in the bathroom, hand soap with some lavender in it, or I'd buy, if I wasn't making bar soap myself, I'd buy it from someone. Same with rose, just kind of having those things around. And like, so I would put like a calming spray in the bathroom so people could spray them. So you could tell if it was stressed out because it would come out smelling like lavender. And sometimes I'd mix up with other stuff and sometimes I wouldn't. But the whole point was to just give people tools. Sometimes if we can just, like the kid calm spray, just something that's a tool that says something really simple on it, like use this for this, it really, really does seem to help people kind of take back a little bit of that power if they're having an issue with other people in a group. Sometimes family events are wonderful, and other times they may be wonderful for you and someone else's nightmare, right? So it's definitely like one of those things where if we could help out, we can definitely do that. So I'm gonna quickly go over like this little tea recipe and then some like rituals, but then I'm going to talk about ways to just kind of incorporate herbs into maybe some of the things you're bringing to the party. So a nice holiday calm tea would be like lemon balm, linden, chamomile, oat straw, and basil, and holy basil, tulsi variety. And then you could do a pinch of rose petals or a little bit of a cinnamon chip. I am not like, I know a lot of people, they think holiday and all they think is like cinnamon, or pumpkin pie spice or whatever. So you can definitely do something like that. That's just not the way I'm wired. When I think of like holiday stuff, I think of like pine and lingonberry and stuff like that. It's just the way that I think about things. So, but you can definitely even turn this into like a latte, or you could turn it into a punch. There's like all different kinds of things you could do. Like if you wanted to, sweeten it or add seltzer water to it, and make like a syrup from it, and then make, like a mocktail, calming, mocktail that you could give people. You could definitely do that. Or, you can always have little booze too. There's nothing wrong with that. And then some fast, practical rituals that you can do for yourself or encourage other people to do. I think I have a dog in here that I didn't know was in here. Okay, so sorry about that. So you could place a drop of diluted lavender, and it could be like a potpourri, or so don't run a diffuser. If you're having a bunch of people at your house, don't run a diffuser the whole time. It can make some people really, really not feel great, and we don't want people. Some people get really nauseous when there's diffusers going and they're really strong. So you could have like a place where you had something like a calm jar. You could even make a joke out of it. Like, this is going to be the calmest holiday we've ever had. You can encourage, this could be for yourself or for other people to do like an herbal bath or a foot soak if they're feeling stressed out. You could even make little blends and give them away as party favors. You could talk, make people some ritual tea, and they could talk about them like tea break. One year I did some tea blends, and I went to like an antique store and I got like different little teacups. And so people got a little tea blend for me in a teacup, and it was just like a little bow on it and a little bag, and just kind of reminding people like, hey, like, let's be kind to ourselves and be calm. Then some like lifestyle anchors that we want to encourage people to do. So like we want people to keep their blood sugar steady. We don't want people to eat their first meal of the day at 6 p.m. if they're not used to it. Like if they're not the kind of person that's doing intermittent fasting or something, we don't want, like, I know in my family when I was little, the big thing was like, you didn't eat it until dinner on some of these holiday things. And I don't even know why. I just think it was like nobody wanted the mess going on at the same time. Maybe like an adult would throw you like some crackers or something. So that's definitely not like probably the best way for us to do it. The next would be hydrate, lots and lots of water, having things around for kids to drink that aren't full of sugar, aren't full of, just some other things, and encouraging people to, even if you're making some homemade sugars with herbal simple syrups and stuff like that, or fruit juices, which still have tons and tons of sugar in them, but maybe we're not getting some of the other preservatives and things like that that kind of like wear people down quickly. And then obviously trying to make the event as screen-free as possible is always nice, because I think it just brings the mood down and gets people talking again. So maybe having some card games around, things like that. And then listen, as the person going to an event or being in an event, knowing when to say no is like some of the best gifts in medicine you can give yourself. No, I can't do that this year, or no, I'm not able to do this, or no, you're not allowed to bring your girlfriends, best friends, dogs, dog groomer, babysitter. That we're keeping this to family and very, very close people to us. This isn't an opportunity for you to have a rager at my house. So those kind of things can be really helpful too. And then I'm going to have a little stress chart. I'm going to put this information in the classroom with this. But I also wanted to just quickly kind of talk about some of the things that I've done through the years to kind of bring in an herbal flow. So my mother always really likes a pound cake. So I'll do like a lemon balm infused pound cake with like a lemon balm glaze, or like a peppermint glaze. Chocolate and peppermint go good for the season, or peppermint and even some kinds of vanilla flavors go well together. But I tend to do like a lemon balm, and sometimes I'll add a little bit of something else to it, to just kind of like, because the smell of it is calming too. Like just the smell of this stuff is really calming. Then oatmeal cookies are something that you can really easily add a lot of good digestive herbs to, and ones that are good for the nervous system. So cardamom, cinnamon, nutmeg, you can kind of add all of that to oatmeal cookie. And then I like to make some different syrups to have around, so the little kids can be blending up their own concoctions. Like they can make their own little sodas. So hawthornberry, elder flower, or elderberry, rose hip syrups. The rose hip syrups always like a big, kids love that. There's one, bilberry. I love doing like a bilberry syrup with like powdered bilberries. It's so good. It's like a blueberry, but it's like so good for you too at the same time. And it just kind of hits your body differently than blueberry. So kids often like that. You can also use it for like parfaits or cocktail mixers, things like that. And then like when I do I brine a protein, or I dry rub a protein, I use lots of herbs that are really good for people being in a space. So what do I mean like that? Like things that are also going to help keep from getting sick, right? So rosemary, thyme, lemon, like I add a lot of that to the different rubs or brines. And then you can do like lavender and rose cookies or cakes. You can season sugar. So we have recipe on how to do that inside your course manual. But basically, like I like to do like a lavender sugar, a rose sugar, and a vanilla sugar. And you can do those with honeys or other things too. But like this regular just sugar in the raw absorbs those flavors really good. And Christmas is one of those times where most people will not really worry so much about, they're eating sugar. A good golden milk on the, in like a crock pot or something like that, smells really good. It's really pretty. People haven't tried it before and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I tend to not really sweeten mine at all. So I don't do that when I serve it to other people, especially for the first time. I don't like sweet drinks. I don't like sweet coffee. I don't like sweet tea. I don't like, and I live in the South. So when you say unsweet tea, you always get, but anyway, but I don't like sweet drinks. So when I make it for other people, I do taste it. Like I don't even like hot chocolate that's that sweet. Like I don't know. That's just the way I'm wired. But speaking of that, you could do like a crock pot hot chocolate that has ashwagandha, reishi, ginger, and cinnamon in it, or alternatively lion's mane, cardamom, vanilla, and cinnamon. So you can kind of bring those things into your holiday repertoire. Infusing butters with herbs is a great thing that you can do. And so some of this stuff you can do early. So if you know that you're going to be using buttermilk in a cake or cream in something, you can infuse those herbs in there for 24 hours, strain them, stick it back in the fridge. You can even add, if you're like, oh, that's not strong enough, you can even add another one, or you could quickly do it by warming the liquid and adding the herbs. I've done both. And so that's like, and then you can throw that into like a cake or into cookies, or you can use the butter like sweetened or savory. So you can add those things to your kitchen table, and it's just a good way to use herbs. It's also a great way to introduce people to herbs, but you can also get the benefits from them. So just because we're, doing our one day of, let's go crazy, right? We can actually make sure that we're not leaving guests with stomach pains or things like that. I like to just think about the people that are coming, what they like. So I know that if I'm having people who have nut allergies, I'm going to look at trying to incorporate something else. But I know if there isn't, I'll do like savory roasted nuts with some rosemary and some sea salt and stuff like that. Or you could do your sweet nuts with a little bit of honey and some of the other herbs, or make a praline. Or there's all kinds of ways to like, sugar and spice nuts. Same with fruits, having, different dried fruits out, but also making the syrups, I think, is fun. And I try to do this like ahead of time. So like I even like so my husband has IBS, and it's pretty bad, and it's linked to his time in the military. But he can live off of these ginger cookies I have, and if anyone wants the recipe, I can give it to you. I think I've talked about them before. But basically it is, I make a double batch, and I use about 1.5 cups of candied ginger in it, and then 3 tablespoons of like this really strong ginger powder that we get. And he loves them. And people will be like, oh, I don't like ginger cookies. And I'm like, okay, well, you don't have to try one. And then they're like eating them like crazy. And I'm like, great, I gotta make another batch. So, having things like that around too can help people with their digestion and stuff. And it's very old school, like giving people, it's like, herbal aperitifs. I mean, this is something we've always done for digestion and support, and it's something that we don't really do anymore. So I like to bring kind of that back. And so a lot of people be like, oh, it's retro, or you're being trendy or whatever. And I'm like, no, I just don't want you to have heartburn on the way home because you went like crazy with Aunt so-and-so's whatever that she brought. So it's just like a fun way to have fun. So I don't know. I mean, maybe this was helpful or not. I did talk about the infused sugars, lemon balm, vanilla, peppermint, cinnamon, cardamom. You can use all those kind of herbs. Let's see, is there anything else? Did anyone have any questions? Or I'm just like over here babbling about holiday stuff. So, but I'm like starting to get my things together and thinking about things. So I thought, oh, I'm probably not the only one who's out there thinking about stuff. So I'll make sure that I have the little handout that I put together. And if you need anything, please connect. And I hope that you have a really good next few weeks. I'll try to go live a few more times this month just to, connect and check in on everyone. So I will let you guys get back to your day. Big, big, big love, and have a wonderful, wonderful week, because it's Tuesday, right? Yeah, it's Tuesday. I have no track of time. All right. Big hugs. Love you guys. Have a good one.